So
How's everybody doing? This is the GenPop Recap Podcast. St. Laz, Mark Waldo Ward co-hosting. We're going over some of the details and some questions, one may have from watching Laz's explosively taking off jail, prison, Brownsville, Rikers Island stories he tells on his YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube. On YouTube, it's St. Laz, st.laz. How you doing tonight, brother?
it's good, my bro. I'm chilling like a villain.
Before we get into anything, right before we got on camera, we was talking about licenses and how we called them L's, and you said you knew that. And the only reason I thought you might not know that is because me being from the DC area, we got a little bit of different slang, like we be saying Bama and young and all that shit. And I was just curious how much interaction you've had with DC cats and them being different.
I mean, all the DC cats that I knew, man, they wasn't too different, man. Because they're not too far from New York. DC is like 3.5, 4 hours away from New York driving, right?
Something like that, yeah.
It's nothing like my couple of dudes that I was locked up with from DC. My son Knowledge, like that's my bro. He from DC. My bro Dusthead, like.
You ain't noticed them having different slang?
I mean, they might have a little bit of different slang and a little twang to their speech, but they still was kind of New Yorkish, man. I mean, they was still.
That's because that shit's infectious, bro. Like I said on Instagram one time, man. I started doing a podcast from you, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, son to my wife and shit.
Real facts, though.
But so let's jump into some of the episodes we're gonna cover. I want to start with something you said on Laz Rants, which I don't know necessarily if we consider that GenPop or not, but you said a couple people have felt a way about me making some money off jail that I'm taking advantage, and I feel like shit, they made money off me. Why can't I get a couple dollars off them? And I thought that was a profound statement, because for real, why should somebody that went to jail or prison be able to get money off that shit? As long as it's not like leading other motherfuckers into jail or prison, you feel me?
Facts, but prison they done made billions and trillions off of the private prison industries and commissaries and food and everything else that prison needs to keep running. They made billions off of it, so you know what I mean?
I'd like to challenge anyone though who might have an issue with you doing that, and to ask themselves, to be honest, would you have took a role on Oz when you were popping in the 90s? And we'll leave it at that. Because I bet a motherfucker who might have an issue would have been on Oz in a heartbeat. And they damn sure wouldn't say nothing to Method Man about making money off prison stories.
It's a fact.
I guess you only allowed to make money off fake prison stories or other people's prison stories.
Yeah, but I mean, I ain't getting hardly any bad feedback about that. I was talking about merchandise. You feel what I'm saying? Like selling merchandise that say C-74 on it and stuff like that. But it's, what I mean, it don't say Rikers Island on it and shit like that. You feel me? So that's what I really was talking about. But as far as me telling jail stories, like I ain't really hearing too much bad feedback from dudes. I know it's out there though, but I don't care, man. I mean, I'm just telling the same stories I've been telling for 25 years and beyond.
Word. And since we let off with the slang, there was a couple terms I ain't know. I mean, like I can kind of read in the context what a bone crusher is, but what's a bone crusher?
A bone crusher is just a banger that's like, it's like a prison shank or a banger that's like, it's very, very abnormally brolic, big. You know what I'm saying? And it's not really meant for slicing. It's meant for bone crushing. You understand what I'm saying? So they call it bone crusher because it's like that shit will break somebody's bones.
Like their eye socket or some shit.
You said what?
Like their eye socket or some shit like that?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the metal that particular banger may have been made from was some indestructible type of metal that's not gonna bend or break. It's gonna crush a bone if you stab somebody with it. So they used to call it bone crushers. You heard?
So that's just like the foam positive shanks. And then you said the turtles. What's that? The motherfuckers that got the shields and shit to be running in with the batons?
Nah, see, that's the riot squad. Like the riot squad, they the regular dudes. Like, you feel me? In Rikers Island back in the days in the C-74 adolescents, they had these dudes called the turtles, and basically they was like emergency. They was like, all right, they was for like extreme situations. The regular riot squad is, regular police that suit up and throw the riot gear on when it pops off. You feel me? But turtles is turtles 24 hours a day. Like they used to wear military suits with, military accessories on they uniforms and stuff like that. And they was just some big brolic, muscle bound, working out ass type of niggas. You feel what I'm saying? And they called them the turtles because they was brolic like the Ninja Turtles. You feel me? And they had all type of shit strapped up on them and all of that, weapons and all of that, like the Ninja Turtles. So that's how they got that name.
Was they fucking with the steroids? They probably had them big ass traps too.
I don't know. I think
I know a type of individual you're talking about. You definitely see them down south.
Yeah, I think in the Fort building, I think in Rikers Island, like they got weight rooms for the police, so the police be in there working out. I mean,
yeah,
they be getting brolic, baby.
I'm sure. Shit, man, I don't even know which ones to start with, man, because like you was dropping some gems. Like, I mean, there was definitely some interesting stories, but like, back to the making money shit, the Newport sweatshirts, man, I found that deep.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but what it is back in them days, it wasn't so much rules on how cigarette companies could market and advertise to people. So
especially black kids in prison, you know what I mean?
Yeah, young black kids, and like we was 16, 17 years old. That's not even legal to be smoking. You feel me? But we locked up. We old enough to be locked up and charged as an adult. But cigarettes is illegal to buy, but they still selling them to us by the truckloads. You feel what I'm saying?
That got me how you said, man, probably half of New York got lung cancer, got addicted to cigarettes off C-74. It's a class action lawsuit waiting to happen.
Facts.
And then, I mean, shit, I guess let's go with the mice and Christmas and Comstock episode first. So, the first thing that made me think of, I've been in a zone down south where like, if you fell asleep with crumbs on your chest or some shit, which some sloppy cats would do, that you might wake up with a mouse eating the shit, or like you had an open pack of chips or noodles or something, you feel me? But like you could put your cup of noodles and they wouldn't even be on the ground trying to chew at it because you could get them out. So I can't even imagine that. So you said you had to cover yourself with a blanket and you'd be so tired you got used to mice running over you in your sleep.
Facts.
Because it was pointless to fight them.
Facts, bro. It's pointless. They're coming in your cell whether you like it or not. There's nothing that can stop them from coming in your cell. You cannot block every part of your cell where a mouse could sneak in. You might as well not even waste your time. What you might as well do is learn to make a cocoon with that blanket and make it to where they cannot get under that cocoon and go to sleep, man. And if you happen to feel mice crawling on you, listen, they can't get inside the cocoon, go to sleep. And that's what I used to have to do, man, because otherwise you'd be up all night. I mean, shit was crazy, bro.
And when like people first got there, you first got there, or any situation where you complained to the guards, what would their response be?
I won't even say nothing to them dudes, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you must have heard people complain, at least, especially when they first got there.
I mean, dudes was complaining, but them joints all over the jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some companies had it better than others. Some dudes, if I'm not mistaken, some dudes had cats in Comstock. Like, they be letting a couple of cats come through the jail. You know, niggas be cuffing those cats, though. Niggas be lonely. So a cat come to the jail, niggas be cuffing that shit. You might get stabbed up and killed over a cat in the max. Like, niggas be having arguments over those cats. Like, yo, come on, bro, you cuffing the cat. You know what I mean? Nigga kind of just come to the yard. It's been incidents. I've heard stories about niggas coming to the yard stabbing each other up over cats.
I mean, shit, anything can become currency, right? And there'll always be violence over currency.
Nah, it'd be a companion though. Like, motherfucker be in jail. It's different if you got a cat that lives in your cell.
Yeah, it's like having a homie.
Yeah, so it's like you got somebody to chill with in your cell. Motherfuckers ready to kill for that.
Damn, that's fucked up. So then the other jump that got me in that episode in a different way, you was talking about how you had been on the street and nobody really heard Nas yet, and you was talking about everybody was like, nah, Rakim the best, and people be arguing, and I was curious if any names was mentioned other than Rakim, or you bringing up Nas? Like, did anybody say like Cool G Rap or I don't know, Harris or some shit?
I mean, of course, dudes of course it was an assortment of people who dudes felt was nice, but at that particular time,
was anyone saying LL?
I wouldn't be able to say I could remember every single rapper that was mentioned, but I would say we was arguing about who's the greatest lyricist in the history of rap, or basically in the game.
Right.
Because Rakim was still popping. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, yo, who's the best lyricist in the game? So that was the topic, and we talking about lyrics, like all of these other dudes great. I mean, of course, people gonna mention Lord Finesse, people gonna mention Coochie Rap, people gonna mention LL. You understand what I'm saying at the time, but Rakim and Kane, you understand what I'm saying, is the main two people that was going. I mean, we all love Ice Cube, but you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, I know you did.
Ice Cube was mad. Ice Cube lyrics was bananas, but he was so hard. His hardcoreness outshined his lyrical talent. You feel me? Like his lyrics was bananas, but he was so hard that he was more of a shocking rapper than a dude that make you go, wow, that's lyrical acrobatics right there. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. I can dig it. So then jumping, while we keeping it light, jumping to the shower beef episode. Man, I found that shit kind of hilarious about the Scared Straight. Like, I can't even imagine the Scared Straight motherfuckers coming through there. Like, did the producers try to coach y'all at all, or like did you directly interact with any of them kids? Like, and have to be on like some
I'm not sure if cameras was there, because this was back in the days when like Scared Straight used to not even be a big thing. Like, it used to come to schools and great, and just they'll go around to different schools.
Like it was a civic program as opposed to a television program.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was like school kids. You understand what I'm saying? It was school kids coming through on a school trip. You understand what I'm saying? Trying to see the max jails and how, and it might have not been the actual Scared Straight, but it was something like that, trying to take the kids and scare them straight by showing them the penitentiary, and it just wasn't a good look. And even in the podcast, in the video I did, I kept it light with the type of stuff people were saying and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know that they was saying way more worse shit. Red shirt, I love you.
Yeah, niggas wasn't getting crazy because they was with the sergeant, and they will take you out that cell and beat your head in if you get too crazy with those kids there. But I'm just saying, I meant to say the people that was saying certain stuff, they was, some of them was legends in Brooklyn, but I don't want to mention their names because it's crazy, you heard? But the shit was funny as hell, bro. It was funny as hell. Cause I swear to God, we was going crazy, laughing and joking, and they ain't give us no warning. They ain't say, "Yo, we gonna bring kids through." If they would have told us that, then we'd have made it look a little bit better. They ain't give nobody no warning. They just came through. It was a wrap. Real talk.
Man, you stay saying I can't say. I mean, I understand why about like legends or well-known people and all that. But so when you be seeing some of these documentaries that come out, these street documentaries, you be like, damn, I did time with him. I did time with him.
Yeah, like certain dudes, I don't mention their names because I don't know them personally like that. I just was in jails with them, and I ain't gonna get too crazy with saying other people's names that I don't really know.
Yeah,
like
I'm not even trying to get no name out you, but like I'm saying, like you must be seeing like titles of them shits to be on Amazon and Netflix and be like, oh, like damn, mad at these cats got TV shows about them now.
Yep, it's definitely a couple of cats.
Would you have expected that back at the time that there would have been such an interest for people to make like documentaries about like, I don't know, the real 50 Cent? Not saying you ever met him or not, but you know, just somebody that has a movie like that.
Yo, let me tell you, when I was young, I wished of a time where television showed the grittiness of the streets.
Word.
And now we living in a day and age where it came true. You feel what I'm saying?
Because like
it's crazy.
It was crazy to me when I started seeing like Rayful Edmond movies and shit. Like I ain't never think no mainstream America shit would be telling that story. You feel me?
Facts.
So like the shower beef, that's on the shower beef episode. You know, that's where I asked about the bone crusher. So basically, you and this dude agreed that when y'all got locked out yourselves to go to showers, that y'all was gonna, you know, scrap or try to kill each other or whatever in there. And unfortunately, y'all realized y'all had a outline comment, so it didn't happen. But up until the point that you got the kite and or homeboy got the kite, and y'all realized y'all didn't really have no reason to be beefing. Like, what are you thinking? Like, because you were talking about the tensions in the air and people getting quiet because they know shower time. So, like, what's going through your mind?
You know, I asked myself that same question because, you know, I look back at that and I say, I didn't even realize the severity of the situation. You understand what I'm saying? Like, nigga could have popped out that cell and stabbed me to death. Who knows? I don't know how he was feeling that day. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, that shit was crazy, bro, because, and then, but you know what it was also, my nigga? Like, I had just got it on in Washington. Like, niggas jumped me or niggas tried to jump me or niggas conspired to get me out the dorm. So
That's
you know, like right after
that's that honors dorm shit. Because that was the next thing I was gonna talk about anyway. That drug dorm shit.
Yeah, it's not it's a drug program. It's like a mandatory drug program that they was making people. That shit was trash. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know how you just have a fight and then like you used to fighting for a minute, like you just had a fight, so you ready to fight again? Like, I was kind of ready to fight again, but I ain't really want no problems because niggas older than me and all type of shit like that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? But
so like that was kind of like autopilot and like not subconscious. Like you know, obviously you wanted to do your time as easy as possible, but you was on autopilot when it was time to, because you know, like you know, the other side of it is if you back down, then everybody starts getting at you in multiple kinds of ways.
Funny thing is I knew I wasn't gonna be in that jail for too much. Well, I didn't know it at the time. I can't say that because I ain't know shit about the system and I ain't know how they could have just put me in regular population. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
So now we talking about the they tried to stab me episode.
No. I'm saying when I was in Comstock and that situation happened.
Okay,
I didn't know if they was gonna put me back in population. I didn't know what they was gonna do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know what they was gonna do. So basically, you know, I just wasn't feeling the way Son said, shut the fuck up. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, That shit was disrespectful. So I felt like I was in the right. You feel me? And when I feel like I'm in the right, I'm never scared to really get it on. When I feel like I'm in the right, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, I beat a nigga ass when I'm in the right, but who knows? I could have got my ass beat.
Yeah, you gotta bring ass to beat ass. So and they tried to stab me, Joan. You said like you knew it was on from the way the door was locked. So obviously the guard had to be in on it on some level. So how much are guards involved in inmate on inmate violence, even if it's just like, you know, turning away from it?
Up north, not much at all. Not much at all. Not up north. On Rikers Island, definitely, but up north, not much at all. So that's why that shit was surprising to me. You understand what I'm saying? Because up north, we don't fuck with the police at all. So y'all niggas had a police that was letting y'all do shit like that, run niggas out of dorms, and you was in on it. Like, it was very few police that I've ever seen up north. Maybe in the maxes, police get down like that. You feel what I'm saying? But in mediums, like, police don't fuck with niggas at all. Too much. You understand what I'm saying? Very few police. So all of that help you run. Police ain't trying to have nothing happen on their shift or their tour. You feel what I'm saying? So that was some greaseball shit.
So and then, you know, you said homeboy could have stabbed you with the ice pick, but he hit you with the blunt side of it. What went through your mind, like the very first time you calmed down and analyzed the situation? What went through your mind when you were like, damn?
Well, first, I almost had forgot when I told that story. I almost forgot. He didn't just hit me in the back of my head. He hit me in the back of my head / back of my jaw, like right where my jawbone starts.
Right.
He hit me like right there, like back of my back, and that shit fucked my jaw up. My jaw was fucked up. So while I was in the box, I had crazy jaw pain. I forgot all about that. Like some shit I forgot about. Talking about this shit, be bringing it back. You feel what I'm saying? But I forgot all about that shit. Like I had mad jaw pain and all of that. Pause.
And then off that happening, they did get you off that dorm, but you was in the box first, and that was the first time. That's the box episode where you was talking about the first time you was up north, or that was a different time?
Nah, they put me in another dorm after that incident happened. But then after I went to the ticket hearing, they found me guilty. Then they sent me to the box. You understand? But that was my first first time in the box, definitely.
So man, now that Joan, that shit killed me. But before we get into it, you know, you was talking about how somebody must have had mercy and left half a cigarette in there, and you didn't know a way to light it, and you was trying to rub the sheets together. And I know obviously in that cell you ain't have access to electrical socket, but I was wondering if you knew how to pop the socket.
Nah, I knew niggas who know how to do that, but at that time I was too new up north to do that. Even I would never fuck with that, bro. I'm not messing with electricity. Niggas be doing that shit. I see niggas do it. It's nothing. It's easy. But I'm just the type of dude. I got bad luck with electricity, so I never fucked with it.
Okay, I see. I was just curious because, man, I swear.
But I don't think you got no sockets in the box anyway at all. None.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that. I was just curious because, bro, from hearing these stories, you know, I thought I knew what being locked up was like, but that shit is obviously like mad different in different regions. Because you know that California shit's some whole entirely different shit.
Yeah, but you know, California, I be watching Lock Up and all of that crazy shit. Like sometimes that California shit is worse than New York. Looking like New York is different, my nigga. Because it's like New York, like I watch other prison movies and shit. I don't know how accurate they be.
Right.
But as far as like mad OD predators that's butt raping and stabbing for butt and all of that, like that shit ain't popping in New York like that, bro. That's frowned upon too much in New York. Like,
oh, that's just popping in mad places down south for sure.
Yeah, like see in New York, like it's a booty bed. It's just some niggas who take ass. It's some rapist niggas. But as far as like the jail's full of mad booty predators with knives, stabbing and killing for butt. That shit ain't never gonna rock in New York prison. Niggas will kill.
Nah,
Niggas will
I
kill
ain't
those
saying it like that.
inmates. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
usually more of debts and shit, or like, you know, basically they pimp a bama out, like pimp his mind. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like yeah, I ain't see too much. Just like, you know, catch this straight getting raped and turned out. Like that's kind of overblown. Like really, the worst part of prison is the misery and the boredom and the loneliness. You know,
That's all.
which brings me right back to the box jump. And you was talking about, like, you've been very honest about crying. You know, I ain't gonna front, like I ain't never cried when I got locked up. I remember I found out my grandmother died though. They let my dad see me on a non-visit day, and I had to go like right back into like where we be chilling with the cards and shit at, and I couldn't cry. But I remember like mad times that, you know, when no one was around, I'd cry. So you said you cried the first night you was in solitary, which I damn sure won't blame you. But I was wondering, you said you heard other dudes crying at different times, and I was wondering if like back when you get back to general population, do people ever talk about how people be crying in solitary?
I'm in the box, like when I used to hear people making sounds and stuff like that, I don't know if they was going crazy or if they was just, you know, we may think dudes is crazy, but they just dudes that's breaking down from that box shit. But usually when people go to the box, they leave the jail. Like it's rare for a dude to go into the box, do mad time in the box, then come to jail. It happens. You feel what I'm saying? It happens. But if it's a serious incident, dudes will get you out there. Like if you do some shit like, let's say you do some shit like curse the police out or whatever, or you throw something at the police, they might rough you up, throw you in a box for 60 days, and you might come back out in the jail. But if you cut somebody or stab somebody, you're getting out that jail. They're gonna move you to another jail. You understand what I'm saying? So you never really get to talk about the box so much. You feel what I'm saying? But I know dudes who came out of Southport with 5 points. Like I know dudes who did time in Southport, 5 points. That's like jails where the whole jail is locked down like a box. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Like Southport, the whole jail is the box. Like if you catch like over a year in the box, 2 years in the box, they send you to Southport. You understand what I'm saying? And I know mad people that was in Southport for 2, 3 years in the box. You feel me?
You said you be
Niggas
watching them
I know
movies and
niggas.
shit. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I know niggas who did 10 years in the box, man.
Yeah, like you said, you know, you be watching the movies. You ever see that HBO documentary about that prison in Virginia with the death row? I think it's got death row, but it's called Red Onion, and it's 23 and then 30 every day.
Nah, I never saw that.
Yeah, it's this prison in Virginia where it's 23 and 30. It may be underground even. I'm not sure, but I met a couple of cats who done time there, and that shit, they ain't doing no 10 years there, but that shit like really fucked them up. Like, I mean, I'm sure everybody's aware of the Khalif Browder. I've been in solitary. So you definitely think that that shit has lasting psychological effects. I mean, it does on me, and you feel it upon yourself as well. Because it sounds like you did more. Like my whole life, I probably did like 45 days of solitary confinement.
You know, it's not just solitary confinement either, man. Even that keep lock shit fucked you up. Even keep lock, like when you just can't come out your cell and you locked up in the cell, all you see is bars all day. You just locked in that shit like a motherfucking animal, like a cage in a cage, like an animal. Like that shit fucks you up too. Solitary is worse, but keep lock. Like I remember when I was in Auburn for that little time that I was in Auburn, and they had me in the keep lock block, and it wasn't no quiet time. Some max jails they got quiet time. Like after a certain time, you can't be making noise. And some max jails they don't have quiet time. Auburn was one of them shits. They ain't had no quiet time. Niggas was making noise all night fucking long to a point where I could not sleep at all. I was tossing and turning all night because all I could hear was niggas playing chess on the gate. 65, go to 23. Niggas be calling out the numbers, playing chess over on the gate from tier to tier. Niggas playing music, making noise. It was crazy, bro. I swear to you, I could record myself crying because I could not sleep and I was tired as a motherfucker. But it was so noisy. It was no way I was gonna sleep in that shit. Then after a few days of that shit, I got used to it, my nigga. I would now, and to this day, I'm like that. I could sleep through a fucking fire truck rally out my window. Like, you know what I mean? I could sleep through that shit. But it took shit like max jails with all of that damn noise for me to go to sleep. Cause niggas in the key block, forget about it. That's all they do is talk and scream all fucking day long. You feel what I'm saying? That shit would drive you crazy. Remember that scene from that movie, My Cousin Vinny, where he couldn't get no sleep and then he went, it was quiet, so he couldn't get no sleep, and the niggas sent that nigga to jail for contempt of court.
Yeah.
He got his first good night of sleep. Niggas was making dumb noise. That's exactly how that shit sound on Auburn. I promise
you. Damn. So like, you know, let's say this shit continues to take off as it is, and you get asked to speak to some children, right? And they're like, I don't understand. Like, this shit makes no sense to me, the institutionalization part. So if you were going to explain to a child the psychology of institutionalization, because I thought it was profound, the things you were saying about the womb and how you get, and I definitely know what you mean about how, you know, sometimes, especially when you're in a stressful jail, the only time you do feel safe is when you get locked in at night. Like, I know exactly what you meant by that. So to somebody who couldn't comprehend that, how would you try to explain the psychology of institutionalization, particularly about those aspects?
I mean, bro, it's like, yo.
And I'll be prepping him for this, you know what I'm saying? So he answering all this shit off the fly.
Let me tell you about, bro, like, I have to start from the simplest things and work my way up. You feel what I'm saying? The simplest things is if I'm speaking to a kid in an institution, like, I gotta get myself ready for stuff like that myself. You feel what I'm saying? Speaking in front of kids and stuff like that. But it's like, if I'm speaking to a kid in an institution, I'm gonna tell them, look around you, look at how everything is painted, look how everything is designed around you. All of the colors inside of an institution is passive, pleasant colors, peaches and pinks and light greens and light blues. You'll never see no dark aggressive color. You'll never see a dark red. You'll never see a black wall. You'll never see anything that can possibly make people aggressive. So even the whole way this prison is designed to try to keep you relaxed. You understand what I'm saying? So if you notice that, then we could get to the point of how deep this shit really goes. But the first thing you gotta see is how this shit is designed around you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they play a lot of psychological games in the penitentiary, but the proof is in the pudding, baby. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Yo, bro, hold on for 1 second, man. I hate to interrupt, but I got a bottle of water in my trunk that I gotta get because I ain't gonna thirst.
That's all good. I'll talk while you're doing that. I get my Joe Rogan on when they have to go take a piss. Like me personally, you know, like I've had mental issues, and my wife saw the Khalif Browder documentary, and she got a much better understanding because she recognized behaviors of me. Like, the one thing that particularly stuck home, and like I said, I want to stress, I think I did around 45 days, and I was in 2 different stints. But the pacing in a limited area, I still find myself doing that. So when you hear the stories before he killed himself about how he was walking around the parking space, that shit, like, I saw myself in that, and you don't ever want to see yourself reflected, because, you know, we from a generation where we was brought up that going to a psychologist and mental illness was a sign of weakness. But like Laz is saying, that institutionalization, like, there's no way it's not going to damage your mind. Want to be like conspiracy theory minded, they might have, you could say they might have encouraged not going to the psychologist in the Black community, along with the mass incarceration, to cause more incidents of harm and violence. Because I mean, what leads to the majority of Black and police killings? People with mental health issues. and all that shit is so tied together, just the way like in that episode Laz beautifully tied the womb to the feeling of security in prison together. But you know, before we get done, Laz, I wanted to end on a light note. I was very heartened by the reading in the bookmobile. You know, shout out to literacy, all that good shit. You know, they say you can't tear down the master's house with the tools of the master, but I mean, shit, literacy, science, knowledge, those is weapons, and anything they trying to keep from you is what you need to have. So I'm always psyched to hear about people that was reading, and I was curious, what was the best book you got from the bookmobile?
I was only in that box for a couple of weeks, and I only really recall the Sidney Sheldon. That's the only book oh, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what damn book I read in the box that was crazy. And I had it in my property because my mom's had sent it to me when I first got locked up. Writing screenplays that sell. I read that in the box. I had that book in the box. And I'm telling you, I still remember the stuff from that book where it spoke about the Karate Kid and why the Karate Kid was such a successful movie, because Daniel was so relatable by the entire American public in the world for that, you know what I'm saying? But he was, you know, somebody that was being bullied, and majority of people can relate with being bullied. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I always kept that in mind, and you know, I think about that in my life, like, you know, if I'm gonna venture off into the film world or tell my life story, I'm not gonna try to tell it without my losses attached to it. You feel what I'm saying?
Word.
Like, I'm just gonna give it up the way it was. Like, you understand what I'm saying? The way I can remember it, the best way I can remember it, I give it up. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes I may get a couple of things confused and discombobulated because these stories is 25 years old, but 97% of these stories are completely accurate. The other 3% might be a couple of mishaps that I gotta correct later on in the future with dates and times.
Well, speaking of the future, you know, we'll have another recap episode next week for everybody. But what do you know what you're gonna do this week? Come, you know, what do you got on the docket as you would?
I'm probably going to an episode tonight.
I ain't never calling that shit the docket again. Fuck that.
What is this? Somebody's coming by on a very weird bike. What the hell is this? Oh, no. Just had two lights. Some weird lights, but like, yo, yeah, man. I'm gonna do the next joint that I'm gonna do is when I went to Clinton. I wasn't in population in Clinton, but they made me do some box days. I don't even know how I owed box days, but they said I owed 10 box days, so I had to do the shit in Clinton. You feel what I'm saying? I hate to keep tear jerking niggas, but you know, I ran into another similar situation about the last situation with the dude who had a bunch of time in Comstock. I ran into another dude with a similar situation. Feel me? And I'm gonna speak about that. Word up.
And you know, this show exists as nothing else but to support Laz's YouTube channel. So you know, I noticed you got the Skinny Vegetarian series you just started. What's the deal with that?
The fat vegetarian.
Fat vegetarian, my bad. I'm tripping. I'm high as shit.
Nah, it's all good. But it's like, yo, yeah, man. I'm just doing the fat vegetarian, man, because you know, I always wanted to do a vegetarian food show, man. I always wanted to do one because I always say to myself, a lot of people would be vegetarians if they knew the type of delicious food was available that was vegetarian. You feel me? So I always wanted to do a show.
So you must fuck with Indian food hard then.
I fucks with Indian food, but you know, my baby mom's is Trinidadian, so it's like they make Indian food too, except for they make it super spicy. Indian,
okay.
regular.
So Trinidadian got a good vegetarian culture?
They make a lot of vegetarian foods too, but they eat meat and stuff like that, but they make a lot of
or they got good vegetable dishes, I guess I should say.
They have good non-meat dishes, like, you feel me, chickpeas, potatoes, like.
Not feel you, dog. Cause like
They
so many
got dish
Americans think like being a vegetarian is like making some corn and some peas and some broccoli. You know what I mean? Like, it don't gotta be just a bunch of vegetables on your plate.
Exactly, bro. And
Like
it's
that
like,
shit was looking delicious in that long episode you had.
Which one you talking about? The falafel?
Yeah, the joint you went out, the 19-minute one.
Yeah,
shit, go check it out on his YouTube, St. Laz YouTube, the Fat Vegetarian. But I'm telling you, that food was looking good. Like that shit looked like a meal.
Nah, that shit is delicious, bro. That shit is ridiculous. Trust me. I don't care if you eat meat. I've brought meat eaters to that spot and they loved it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you ain't a motherfucker ain't gotta be a vegetarian to eat vegetarian food also. So, you know, a lot of people that eat meat, they murder vegetarian food too.
Yeah, and you get a lot of protein from them chickpeas and shit. Like you be vegetarian, get mad protein. Like, you know, the first thing people say is, "Oh, I won't get no protein." Now you can get protein.
Yeah, the chickpeas is cancer killers. The chickpeas is cancer killers, bro. Trust me. Them shit's got a chemical in there. They got a chemical. They have a chemical in that shit that fights cancer heavily.
Shit, that's what's up. Well, shit. Before we get out of here, you got anything you want to shout out? Is it going to be any new music coming on the channel or anything? Or you still just rocking with the new JR Ryder, Two Vados, Roddy Rich, Gunna? Like I'm telling y'all, go check out St. Laz YouTube. It's popping in many different levels.
Right now, I just got that. Right, you know, I'm funny, man. Like I only like new shit. So right now, I'm just pumping that me, Big Lito, and Crunchy Black joint.
Yeah,
I be pumping that shit crazy. Like, I mean,
y'all can find that on Dirty Glove Bastard, St. Laz, Big Lito featuring Crunchy Black. That's just insanity. I like the little flip one too. I don't know if that's on your YouTube or not, but that little flip joint go hard.
Yeah, that little flip. Which one you talking about? You talking about the one with Bucker?
Yeah. The one on your Instagram, it got the animated cartoon of him, and it got the whole song on your IGTV.
Oh yeah, that's the joint. That's the joint with Bucker. That's my joint too. I fucks with that. That's my Jill's joint.
Well, shit, that's what's up, bro.
Some shit coming up. My favorite shit right now is that me and Foul joint, Feel Me. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I'm gonna go. I'll check that one out. Me and St. Laz and Foul, Feel Me. I'll check that out. I'll put a link in the description along with the YouTube channel. Well, shit, we just gonna keep pushing, brother. You got anything else to say before we get out of here?
Nah, bro, hit me up tomorrow, man. Let's get it in. I'll let you know when I drop that new app. You heard? Man,
that's what's up. This has been the GenPop recast. GenPop podcast recap. I'm gonna get that shit right. You know what I'm saying? We DIY learn on the fly. You know, I don't got no broadcast training. Y'all gonna have to excuse me. All right, man. Thank you for your time.
That shit is a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna learn that shit though. All right, take it light.